Bonjour, dankness. And welcome everyone to No One Daily Bitcoin Pod. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. Bitcoin reclaims 100 G's like it ain't no thing. Also breaking news, publicly traded Mara buys 15,574 Bitcoin for an additional $1.53 billion. And also the Dutch government urges to establish a national Bitcoin reserve in an open letter. I'll be breaking this down for you, as well as Hut 8 surpasses $1 billion in Bitcoin holdings after a $100 million acquisition. Also, the latest from El Salvador, making Bitcoin payments voluntary. According to this headline, we're going to read through the FUD. I got the insider scoop for you as they lock down the $1.4 billion IMF loan deal. Also be giving you the insights from Stacey Herbert and Max Kaiser, of course. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin bull Mikey Saylor willing to advise President-elect Trump on crypto. Mikey Saylor in the building. We'll also be discussing Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki says Bitcoin at 350,000 by next year. We'll also be discussing a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve pushing the Bitcoin price to 500,000 per coin easily, according to the Bitwise CIO. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. Welcome everyone to the live stream. JV bright and early. The early Bitcoiner catches the sats, apparently. But good to have everyone here. I know it's very early, 10 a.m. stream. I told you guys I'd be early today. We're going to be pretty early tomorrow as well. Then Saturday, we'll be back to the afternoon time. This is my last day here in Florida. I'll be flying back to Puerto Rico. So tomorrow's stream, we'll be back at the home office. Shout out James Elsey. Welcome, brother. Eric Go, Digital Dankness, the rest of the fam. I am streaming live today on X, Rumble, and YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and pin the stream at the top of the profile. But it's pretty nice. We recover pretty swiftly from yesterday's bottom as we had a little bit of a correction after a nice run up. But you're going to notice the stream pinned at the top of the profile. Proof of work right there. Any one of you who reposts the stream, comments or quotes is going to get reposted in real time. It'll help bring more attraction through the algorithm to the stream, so it's appreciated. Shout out Dankness, the first one to repost. Early show today. Don't miss the 10 a.m. special. You got JV in the rare form. It's not often I stream at 10 a.m., but got to get the job done. Shout out Homemade Productions, James Elsey. Appreciate the repost. Welcome everyone just joining us. Lots going on in the market.
Oh my gosh, it's finally almost here. JV is going to talk to us. Crypto news is near. I can't stand waiting. There is no debating. I waited all day, maybe I need a life, but Bitcoin is all I can think about day and night. Hurry, JV.
Welcome everyone to today's early bird special Bitcoin pod. Good to have everyone here. This is my last day in Florida on this trip. We'll be back at the home studio in Puerto Rico tomorrow. Bitcoin did correct yesterday. The entire stock market crashed, I think shredding $1.5 trillion. And they did also lower interest rates, which is all very interesting. And there's massive buying going on from the whales. So in today's show, I'll be breaking down all the headlines, all the important news stories you need to know. We'll be looking at some of the live charts, and we'll also, decipher everything you need to know. But without further ado, we ain't got any time to waste. Just one more reminder, we're live right now on X, Rumble, and YouTube. I will be streaming over the course of the next hour, so please do repost the stream and all that fun stuff. And if you're new to the channel, important to smash the likes, then hit the bell icon and subscribe. This is the number one daily Bitcoin pod, hands down. Today is December 19th, 2024, pod episode number 1553. I'm your host, JV. Bitcoin did correct back sub 100,000 yesterday. This morning we were back above 102. At the time of the live stream, we're still sitting above 100,600. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. And I guess I gotta share the screen, so give me 1 second to do so. My apologies here. I thought I was all set up. Apparently I'm slipping. Here we go. That should do the trick. Maybe there and there. I got two screen shares open. 1 second, fam, and it'll pop up on the screen here. I think this is it. And this one. Properly. Coin 360. Yeah, you should be able to see on your screen. My apologies for the delay. But yeah, you can see Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, all the major alts currently correcting and in the red. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. We currently, let's get a refresh on here. We're currently sitting at 3.5 trillion. As far as the market cap, we did hit an all-time high the day we hit, current price discovery just above 1082. We have 263 billion worth of volume past 24 hours. The Bitcoin market cap is back under 2 trillion, the all-time high we hit the other day. Bitcoin dominance back on the rise, as you can see, 57.1%, with the Ether dominance at 12.5%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Movement, BGB, and Mantle. Let me know which alt, if any, you're most bullish on for the bull. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective on the day. You just see Rex City across the board. But zooming out on the monthly, y'all must have forgot. Everything is in the green. Some of these cryptos up over 100%, multiple hundreds of percent. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Yesterday was an 81. Today we're down to 75 greed. Last week an 83. And last month a 90 in extreme greed. And checking out the time chain calendar, we have 174,555 blocks until the next halving in 2028. We're currently on block height number 875,445. You currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 982 sats. So stack them sats and you know the rest. And again, welcome everyone just joining us. Bit of a correction past couple of days in the market, but it's not just crypto, it's everything. As you saw the stock market lose $1.5 trillion in capital just yesterday, and they say one of the biggest, I guess, market tanks, but things are starting to recover now, as you can see. Bitcoin back above 100 G's. Shout out Shandy, the one and only. Make sure to subscribe to her channel if you're not subscribed. Shandy 10 Music, #1 Bitcoin music channel, hands down. Good to have you here. Erico, again, welcome. Fairground watching from Cornwall, England. Shout out Greg. Good to have you here, brother. Good day to you. Stay calm, pirates. Don't let the JP shiver your timbers. Just remember, the very reason Bitcoin was created is to circumvent the government and the market control over the globally accessible assets and currencies. Amen. Shout out Ray Egan. Shout out Chris. Shout out Passive and the rest of the fam. Gratefulness in the building. Johnny, welcome. Laser Cat with their eyes on their sats. Welcome. And everyone joining the stream. Again, we're live on X, Rumble, and YouTube. Welcome everyone to today's early stream. That's right, Eric. They say the early bird catches the worm. You nailed it. A little proof of work. And shout out Shandy. Appreciate the repost, she wrote. JV's early on today with the Bitcoin pod. Word. Thank you, Shandy. Appreciate the repost. Super early. But yeah, good to have you guys all here with us today. And welcome those just joining us on the stream. Lots to share, so no time to waste. Let's dive into today's technical analysis, aka astrology for the broskies. Bitcoin reclaims 100,000, but the weekly charts form in the bearish engulfing candlestick. Oh no. That's right. Rec Capital said there are still a few days until the end of the week to fully confirm the downtrend, and lots can change in the meantime. Technically, this is still a dip until the weekly levels are confirmed as lost. Between 2 and 3 a.m. December 19th, Bitcoin dipped below 100 G's for the first time since December 13th, hitting a low of 99,000. Oh my God. End of the world. It came the broader market sell-off after the U.S. Fed announced a 25 basis point rate cut and signaled fewer rate cuts than initially planned may take place for 2025. For some traders, the Bitcoin price dip caused little concern. This pullback is pretty normal for Bitcoin, said the Bitcoin Archive. Spot on. And if you're selling your Bitcoin in reaction to what the Fed said today, you have no idea what you own. Good point, because all the Fed said was someone asked them about like Bitcoin, and then Jay Powell's like, no, we're not allowed to buy Bitcoin here at the Fed. It's like, come on now. This came just 2 weeks after Bitcoin broke through 100,000 for the first time on December 4th, mainly driven by the Bitcoin ETF demand. And since the April Trump pump from the election win. Now, still, it was only November 5th. Bitcoin surpassed the previous all-time high of 73 set in March. Rex said volatility comes naturally when entering price discovery, quoting him here. Technically, it is week 7 in price discovery, which historically means Bitcoin corrections occur around this time. While many Crypto speculators often see steep drops in this as a flash crash. Rex said it may go on for at least another week. We know that week 7 and 8 and price discovery have historically been corrective weeks. And in breaking news, publicly traded Mara buys another 15,574 Bitcoin for $1.53 billion. And the Dutch government urges to establish a national Bitcoin reserve in an open letter. The writer proposed that the Netherlands acquire Bitcoin through the Ministry of Finance by selling a portion of their current gold reserves, launching the speculative attack against gold and central banks. Let's freaking go. So you already know game theory in full effect. And checking out the live charts. Give me a second to switch up the scene for you guys here. Should be able to see here on your screen. But yeah, right here you're looking at the 1 hour chart via Coinbase, via TradingView. You can see the correction clearly on your screen, and zooming out from the hourly, take a quick look at a 4 hour. And as you can see, a big red corrective, but we do still have a rising wedgie, though we're currently correcting. And zooming out from the 4 hour, we check out the 1 day. And you can see the big red candle we had yesterday. Still, though, a clear rising wedge formation. The more you zoom out, the more bullish this is all going to look. I mean, let's zoom out again for the weekly. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green consecutive weekly candle closes, including the highest weekly close of all time, which we had on Sunday. We still have a cup and handle target of 124,000 in play here for Q4. So, yeah, I mean, and zooming out a little further, check out the 1 month. We still got a week and a half left for, for the end of 2024 before we put a bow on it. And you can see the big green candle from Moonvember. I still think we have a lot of bullishness here in our next leg up. But let me know your thoughts. Where do you feel the Bitcoin price action will likely take us as far as the cycle peak is concerned for this year in particular for 2024? And I'll read your comments out loud. And again, welcome y'all just joining us. We've got over 200 people here from all over the world. It is an early stream. I know West Coast is still asleep, but it's all good in the hood. How you doing? Shout out Sailing, Fishing, Shooting Adventures. Good to have you here today with us. Shout out our one and only Oracle. Always an honor. Greg says, let this sink in. Even though the market deep sixth yesterday, the top 10 US-based Bitcoin ETFs have purchased 1.4 billion in the first 3 trading days, Monday through Wednesday this week. Let's frickin' go. Yeah, they can confiscate Bitcoin. They don't need to buy it all for the biddies from the Silk Road. Can't wait till Trump tells them to buy the biddies. Says Dankness, amen. Oh boy, well, it is a good thing you were there. Right on, man. I mean, bullishness in the markets. Back at sea for Christmas and New Year's. Unfortunately, 113 is Passive's guess. Thanks for letting me know. 115 says Lasercat. I'm sticking to 124. I'm still optimistic about the rest of the month for the candle close. I do remember going over why people are calling for 95 with you. Yes, you do. You did say that. It was like lit to hang with my exactly. 2024 high, 125, right on point, one Glencoe. Welcome, Juan. Good to have you here. And those just joining us in the live chat. This is live and interactive, so important. Let me know where you're tuned in from. I'm streaming live today. This is my last day here in Florida. You know what I mean? I'll be Puerto Rico bound here shortly. Bitcoin normally has to sell of year, which is believed to be 2026. However, many are saying this cycle is different. Do you agree? I do think the cycle is different. I think that's not even a question because we have unprecedented events which occurred this year, including the ETS, which we didn't have last year. They went live, January 11th, maybe end of last year. It started to get priced in, the bullish news of BlackRock announcing it and all that kind of stuff. But it became official this year. So the institutional FOMO did not exist previous cycle. Hence, it's different. Also, the nation state adoption. We'd never had the president of the United States of America openly talking about establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. That makes things different. A lot of things are different. The bigger money is all coming in via the ETFs, now the sovereign wealth funds, the pension funds, the nation state adoption, from a country perspective and also from the nation state perspective, like the state of Texas, the state of Wyoming, Florida, etc., looking to adopt Bitcoin. And it seems every day we making a new announcement of another one. Today it's the Netherlands. What's it going to be tomorrow? Who's going to be establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve tomorrow is the question. You know what I mean? Oracle, sorry, feeding my elderly dog. She didn't like to eat without me holding the bowl. OTC holds about 400,000 Bitcoin. All the Bitcoin exchanges hold 2.4 million of the Bitcoin at the current Bitcoin purchase price. These reserves will be exhausted in less than 35 weeks, 6 to 8 months out. Let's go. That's what's up. And yeah, let's not forget the 100K party. Information coming soon to the Discord, fam. If you're not in there, discord.cryptonewsalerts.net. But anyways, let's continue with the news. Start knocking all these stories out for you so we can transition to our live Q&A towards the end of the stream. Here's another breaking story. Hut 8 surpasses 1 billion in Bitcoin holdings. Welcome to the $1 billion Bitty Club after a new 100 million acquisition. That's right. Hut 8, one of North America's largest Bitcoin miners, has announced a 100 million purchase of Bitcoin, increasing its holdings to over $1 billion. Pretty lit. The company announced December 19th it acquired 990 Bitcoin for approximately 100 million at an average cost of 101,710 per coin. According to the press release, the purchase aligns with Hut 8's strategy of combining low-cost Bitcoin production with optimistic markup buys to maximize returns and establish Bitcoin as a reserve asset. The expansion of Hut 8's Bitcoin reserve continues a growing trend amongst institutions as the options to include a Bitcoin as a strategic financial portfolio asset become more attractive, particularly as the U.S. prepares for a crypto Trump administration. Speaking about the Bitcoin acquisition, Hut 8 said the acquisition would help support its planned fleet upgrade, enabling the Bitcoin mining company to expand its mining capabilities through a financial model that leverages its digital asset reserve. The 100 million acquisition brings the firm's Bitcoin holdings up to 10,096 BTC at a realized average price at 24,400, comprising its mined and purchase holdings that you can see right here. Now, Strategic Reserve Management, Hut 8 CEO Asher said the company's strategic Bitcoin reserve is a key component of its treasury strategy and aligns with its capital and operating strategies, quoting him here, as we scale operations and extend our cost advantage in Bitcoin production. We anticipate that the flywheel effect will enable us to grow our holdings organically at a significant discount to the market price. This latest announcement aligns with the company's goal to raise up to 500 million to buy Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset, which is furthered in a recent 250 million stock repurchase and share sale program. On December 2nd, Hut 8 filed the motion to dismiss a class action lawsuit from its shareholders, alleging it was spurred by a short seller report that established a campaign to sink Hut 8's stock for its own gain. The firm said the case arose from a short seller, J Capital Research, attempting to obtain a monetary gain on its short position, and Hut 8 at the expense of ordinary shareholders. The lawsuit stems from the January report by Capital J Research, which accused Hut 8 of overstating the profitability of its acquisition of the U.S. Bitcoin Corp and concealing operational issues at a Texas facility. So there you have it, yo. The miners are bullish, as you already know. Marathon, Riot, Hut 8, all stacking that bitty like there ain't no thing because they know what's about to occur in the market. You know what I mean? There's the calm before the storm. Matthew, bro, thank you. You're the real one. So many Bitcoin channels have titles like Bitcoin crashed yesterday as the only market for the couple. I appreciate the grounded information. Thank you, Matthew. You know we're bullish all year round, including in the winter. We're the most bullish Bitcoin channel there is, hands down. I take great pride in that. Through the entire winter, when everyone's saying Bitcoin's going to crash to three grand and preaching Garrett Soloway, JV said, no, we're going to 100,000. We're more likely to hit 100,000 to crash in the way Soloway is predicting. So don't listen to these perma bears, fam. They're here to misguide you, no different than Jim Cramer on TV. At the end of the day, it's like the blind leading the blind. The problem right now is there are some very stubble bearish news for the next year, and the scared cats make the markets dump. Yeah, they can be scaredy cats. Sucks to be them. All they're really doing is selling their Bitcoin to Michael Saylor and Larry Fink and Bukele. You know what I mean? So who's selling? People who are misinformed, uneducated. What do we call them folks that like to store the fiat as a store of value? What do we call them folk?
But like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
Thank you, JC Ice, on the repost early pod. Catch it here. Come and chat with the fam and JV. Much respect.
People that use fiat
Tell him, Michael.
currency as a store
Yeah, those who treat fiat as a store of value. What do we call them?
of value, we call them poor. We call them poor.
Thank you, Michael. That's pretty accurate, by the way.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best.
I'm not saying I'm number one. I'm sorry, I lied. I'm number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right?
Let's go. And again, welcome y'all just joining us.
The point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Take all your time, figure.
Excuse me. But yeah, let's just get into the next story. Let's blow through these headlines today. El Salvador is in the headlines, and I did reach out to Sergio, who is from El Salvador, to get some clarity on what's FUD, what's not FUD, and deciphering the FUD, because you already know. And I got some insights from Max and Stacy as well. So first and foremost, I'm going to read you the article as it was published, and then I'll interject my perspective and point out some flaws, and then I'll give you the feedback from Max and Stacy just to keep it 100 with you guys today. And I'll be in El Salvador next month along Chandy 10 Music. We're going to be documenting our journey out there, so really looking forward to that at the Max and Stacy Invitational. So shout out to Max and Stacy. The headline here reads, El Salvador makes Bitcoin payments voluntary and 1.4 billion IMF loan deal. And again, just stick with me here. I'm going to read the article as it's published, and then I'll add my insights based upon what I know and try to decipher the FUD. El Salvador is set to make merchant acceptance of Bitcoin voluntary, unwind its involvement in its little-used Shivo wallet, and make public sector engagement of Bitcoin-related economic activity confined as part of a $1.4 billion loan with the IMF. The Central American nation will get 1.4 billion from the IMF over the next 40 months after agreeing to measures aimed at dropping the debt to GDP ratio, the global lender said in a December 18th statement, quoting them here. The potential risks of the Bitcoin project will be diminished significantly in line with fund policies. Legal reforms will make acceptance of Bitcoin by the private sector voluntary, and this is according to the IMF. Just keep that in mind. I'm quoting them right now. For the public sector, engagement in Bitcoin-related economic activities and transactions in and purchases of Bitcoin will be confined. IMF also said taxes will be paid in US dollars, the country's official currency, and government involvement in the state-backed crypto Shivo wallet will be gradually unwound. And let me explain why they're doing that, and let me explain why all this is going on. But I'm just going to complete the story. El Salvador began buying Bitcoin in 2021 with the country's national Bitcoin office's tracker showing it currently holds almost 6,000 Bitcoin, worth 602 million. A national Bitcoin office spokesperson shared the country will keep accumulating Bitcoin. Well, of course, we will keep buying 1 Bitcoin a day, likely even more in the future, and we will not sell any of our current holdings, said the spokesperson. The plans for the Bitcoin office remain the same as Bitcoin continues to be our main strategy. The agreement still needs the IMF executive board's approval, but it marks the end of 4 years of negotiations that featured President Bukele's adoption of Bitcoin as the legal tender in June of 2021, making it the first country of the world to do so. So El Salvador will forever be Bitcoin country. The IMF has long called on Bukele to drop its Bitcoin plans, saying that the speculative nature of the crypto could put the country at risk. The agreement will also see additional loans from other global banks, including the World Bank, for a total financial deal of $3.5 billion. So that's what they're borrowing. And in reaction to the IMF announcement, Bukele's Bitcoin advisor, Max Kaiser, said, "Nobody pays attention to these assholes." And I'll show you the tweet here in a moment. Bitcoin use in El Salvador was always voluntary, and its usage has never been higher and continues to grow. Preach, Max. The IMF's point is dead on arrival, he says. However, an October survey of Salvadorans found 92% don't make transactions using Bitcoin, and I'll explain why this is. An increase from a 2023 survey, they found 88% didn't use Bitcoin for transactions. So first, let me read the tweets from Max and Stacy, and then I'll provide some insights I gathered from Sergio this morning to correct some of the misinterpretations of the article. So Stacy wrote, El Salvador secures a $3.5 billion funding deal. Bitcoin remains legal tender. Those are the highlights. El Salvador will continue buying Bitcoin at possibly an accelerated pace for the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Bitcoin capital markets will continue to be built. For example, the recent tokenized issuance of U.S. treasuries on liquidity and so much more to be announced soon regarding capital markets of Bitcoin. The Bitcoin office will continue building Bitcoin policies and roadmaps, attracting investors and building educational programs, including the new grades 2 and 3 Little Hodler Bitcoin and Money workbooks for January 2025. CUBO Plus continues educating elite Bitcoin and Lightning Dev talent in El Salvador, another group of more than 20 students that will graduate at the end of January of 2025. Meet Premier Bitcoin and Node Nation continue being taught in high schools across El Salvador and ESIAP countries with its Bitcoin certification program of 80,000 civil servants. And the Chivo wallet will be sold or wound down, but many private sector Bitcoin wallets will continue in El Salvador, and this is just the beginning. So I like to point out there, and I got clarification from Sergio, Chivo wallet is not government. It is a private sector wallet the government use, and apparently it's a terrible wallet, and it's not even recommended by the local people. However, there's a ton of alternatives. Sergio told me a lot of the local people are using Strike or many of the other alternatives. So Chivo wallet is being wound down for that reason. It sucks, and there's other more superior options. So that's not because what the IMF is doing. It's just they have no plans to continue to update it and keep it because no one likes it. That's my understanding of it. So they're doing away with the Chivo wallet, and there's plenty of other alternatives they already have that you can start using today, such as Strike, Jack Mahler's company, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I mean, and let me read Max Kaiser's tweet here. He says the source, the IMF News, is considering a strategic Bitcoin reserve treasury strategy for itself, bilking the poor nations and buying Bitcoin. Nations need to do what El Salvador was the first to do, implement a sovereign Bitcoin reserve strategy to protect against the IMF thieves. And here's the insights I gathered from Sergio. Bukele is a very smart man. He's playing chess out here, and the tables have turned. It's not the IMF telling El Salvador what to do. The tone has changed. They're politely asking. They want to do business some way, somehow. So Bukele is ultimately saying, okay, we'll take that loan and, we'll play ball. And my understanding is, what would they likely do with the loan? I like to believe he's just going to buy Bitcoin with it and make their people more wealthy and make their nation even wealthier. But a lot of FUD in the interpretation of that article, because it's thinking like, oh, the IMF won. The IMF is now telling Bukele what to do. That's not it whatsoever. So it's kind of like a win-win from my understanding of it, and it doesn't change anything. And I also understand that people in El Salvador as business owners, they have the right to choose Bitcoin, Tether USDT, or US dollar, because they're all legal tender. So no one's being forced to use Bitcoin, and also who wants to use Bitcoin to pay their taxes? My understanding is nobody, because Bitcoin goes up forever. You use your petty cash, which is fiat monopoly money, to pay your taxes. So not really much has changed. It's just an opportunity for El Salvador to establish themselves, even more so on a world scale. So that's my understanding of it. Hopefully that all makes sense to you. Bukele and Trump met. I think they are talking about the U.S. Strategic Reserve. I hope so. What else is more important than that topic right now? We'll check it out later. Right on. Good day. Shout out, Serge. Always a pleasure to have you here. Welcome everyone just joining us on the live. We just went sub 100,000 again. So great buy the dip opportunity. Bitcoin discounted 4,400 on the day, maintaining above 99.7 at the time of the live stream. But anyways, let me know your thoughts regarding the IMF. Bukele, you already know my sentiment, same as Max. F the IMF. You feel me? But I digress. Next story of the day, let's discuss Saylor and Trump. Headline reads, Bitcoin bull Mikey Saylor willing to advise President-elect Trump on crypto. That's right. Michael Saylor, who is the co-founder and chairman of MicroStrategy, expressed his desire to enhance intelligent leverage for the company's shareholders as it continues its strategy of investing heavily in the market's leading crypto. That's right. In a recent interview with Bloomberg, Saylor highlighted MicroStrategy holds $7.2 billion of convertible securities, with approximately $4 billion effectively acting as equity due to their favorable trading conditions. He noted they are trading with a delta of approximately 100%, looking like equity, indicating a strong correlation between the convertible bonds and the company's stock performance. MicroStrategy has emerged as a significant player in the crypto landscape this year, actively pursuing a bold plan to raise $42 billion exclusively for the acquisition of Bitcoin. The company shares have surged nearly 500% this year, significantly outpacing Bitcoin's own 150% rise during the same period, attributed to the firm's routine announcement of the multi-billion-dollar Bitcoin purchases, which have taken place every Monday for the past 6 weeks and will likely to continue. Such activities have not only driven up MicroStrategy's stock price, but have raised questions regarding the long-term sustainability of this aggressive investment strategy. Let me know how many of you have any MicroStrategy stock. I'm curious. The firm's fixed income securities have attracted attention from hedge funds seeking convertible arbitrage opportunities, a strategy that involves buying the bonds while short selling the underlying shares. This demand has facilitated MicroStrategy's issuance of $6.2 billion in convertibles this year, further bolstering its financing capabilities. Despite concerns about the viability of the investment, MicroStrategy, that's the nickname for the company I threw in there, market cap has soared past $90 billion, leading to its inclusion in the NASDAQ 100 index at the end of Friday trading. This milestone can trigger over $2 billion in shares purchased from funds that track the tech benchmark index, according to the estimates from Bloomberg Intelligence. Now, regarding the role, in a related note, Saylor revealed during an interview that he has been actively engaging with members of the Trump administration. He also says he's been close friends with the Trump family for over 20 years, signaling his willingness to contribute to discussions on constructive digital asset policies. Saylor stated he would be open to serving on the advisory council for digital assets. I mean, take advantage of that, Trump, if you're listening. Called upon the Trump recent appointment of David Sachs, the former PayPal exec, as a first ever White House AI and crypto czar. And as reported by Bitcoinist, the role is designed to oversee the development of government policies concerning artificial intelligence and crypto, a move that aligns with the Trump campaign promise to reform U.S. crypto regulations and foster an environment conducive of industry growth. There's also rumors that Trump may make crypto basically in America, zero capital gains tax in the cryptos from America, which would be a game changer as well. But right now, that's speculation. I'll let you know if that ever comes to fruition, obviously. Sachs will be tasked with creating the legal framework to provide the clarity of the crypto industry has long sought, enabling it to flourish within the U.S. Trump remarked he will work on a legal framework on the crypto industry, getting the clarity it has been asking for and can thrive in the U.S. And the other day, I shared that it was brought forth the strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. So all Trump needs to do when he gets into office is put his pretty little signature on that strategic reserve bill, and game on. The Bitcoin race, the global hash wars will commence with, El Salvador, obviously first movers advantage, but there ain't no place like the United States of America as far as the influence it has over the rest of the countries around the world. So it kind of forces everyone else to accumulate Bitcoin as well, and that's the game theory we've been preaching. Again, welcome everyone joining us. I'm going to check the X feed again, fam. Remember, I'm streaming today on X, Rumble, and YouTube. And if you guys could repost the stream, comment the stream, anything you can do to help with the algo is always much appreciated. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, K-Jam. Keep the comments a-flowing. We're going to continue knocking out these headlines for the day. So next story, we're going to be discussing a $350,000 target. Then we'll be discussing a $500,000 easy target with Trump establishing a United States strategic Bitcoin reserve. And then we'll do a little bit of some Q&A. But again, welcome everyone just joining us here today live. So yeah, shout out Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki. He says Bitcoin at $350,000 next year. And urgent call for crypto investors. So yeah, this is his actual tweet. Yay. Bitcoin holding above 106. Yay. Again, the famous author explained that the rich continue to accumulate wealth, but few individuals, likely fewer than 1 in 8 million, can afford to write a $106,000 check. However, this does not mean only those with significant cash reserves will benefit as the Bitcoin value rises, emphasizing the accessibility of Bitcoin despite its soaring price. Quoting him here, that is the genius of Bitcoin. Even if all a person can afford is 1/2 a Satoshi, which is currently, you get basically roughly 850 sats per dollar right now, allowing even people who cannot write 106,000 check the same equal opportunity to get richer and richer as those who can write $106,000 checks. And he makes a good point. One Bitcoin can be divided by 100 million Satoshis the same way $1 is divided by 100 pennies. So you can literally purchase $5 worth of Bitcoin a day, $1 a day, whatever it is, $100 a month. No matter the price, there's no excuse to not stack the Bitcoin. The best-selling author advocates investing in assets like Bitcoin, citing distrust of fiat currency, of the U.S. government, and the dollar. He supports even small investments into Bitcoin, Satoshis, emphasizing the inclusive design and potential to help people build wealth, urging his followers to act swiftly, quoting him here, do not wait and delay. Start getting richer today. At least start buying some sats. Everyone here can become a Satoshi millionaire for approximately $1,000, just FYI. I think that should be everyone's goal, minimal. A sat, short for Satoshi, is the smallest unit of the Bitcoin, named after the Bitcoin's anonymous creator, Satoshi. One Satoshi, again, one Bitcoin can be divided by 100 million Satoshis. And by the time it's $1 per sat, you're talking $100 million Bitcoin price. Kiyosaki also linked his outlook on Bitcoin to the broader political developments, praising Trump as the first Bitcoin president. He shared predicting the price of Bitcoin will soar to $350 next year. He shared it here. Bitcoin to $350 in 2025. Own more Bitcoin in 2025. Trump's recent advocacy for the blockchain tech and his appointments for the new U.S. SEC. Goodbye, Gary. And the crypto czar have further fueled the optimism within the crypto community? Precisely. The entire U.S. government just flipped bullish on Bitcoin. From being anti-Bitcoin and the war on crypto led by Biden administration, Senator Warren, Janet Yellen, Gary Gensler, and the rest of the clown world, they're out. They're all being replaced with pro-Bitcoin advocates. So you already know strategic Bitcoin reserve in play. And shout out RFK Jr. He says the U.S. should stockpile 4 million Bitcoin. Start buying 400 Bitcoin per day every day until you got 4 million. I think Trump should stick to that or do the Michael Saylor strategy and just trade all the gold, the worthless gold, for Bitcoin, demonetize the gold around the world and make the United States a superpower. Make the United States have more Bitcoin than Satoshi at 1.1 million. Don't let BlackRock and Michael Saylor make you look bad, Trump. You either go big or go home. You're the one always saying huge. You go huge or you go home, Trump. And if you want to go huge, buy 10 million Bitcoin. It's not going to be easy. You may have to get it at a premium, but whatever it takes, Mr. Trumpster. But anyways, I know Trump watches the podcast, so that's my message to Trump today. There's a sucker born every minute. P.T. Barnum, everything goes to zero against the biddy. Well said, Judson. Okay, soon, very soon, I'll be throwing half of my check every week into Bitcoin. Smart man. Should out surge. Strange how the drop of the price after a drop of the interest. Yeah, it makes no sense. $1 billion buys announced. The rates drop. Meanwhile, I think it's obviously the lizard people behind this, but they can only suppress it for so long. Before you know it will be $200,000. Sayonara, 100K. Nice to know you. But anyways, keep the comments flowing. We're going to dive into our feature story of the day, and then we'll tap into some live Q&A. Good to have everyone here with us today. All right, now for our feature story of the day. U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve could push the Bitcoin price to $500,000 per coin. Easy peasy. According to the Bitwise CIO, this man right here, Matthew Hougan. I hope it's pronounced Hougan because I've been saying it wrong for 6 years if it's not so. But anyways, in an interview with Yahoo, Hougan, the Bitwise CIO, shared his bullish outlook on Bitcoin, projecting significant price appreciation by the end of 2025. Quoting him here, we expect Bitcoin to be up and above 200,000 by this time next year, attributing the forecast to three primary sources of demand: the Bitcoin ETFs, the corporate investments, and the governmental acquisitions. He elaborated. There are ETFs that are vacuuming up the Bitcoin. Public companies like MicroStrategy are accumulating Bitcoin, and now we're seeing discussions about governments investing in the bitty. It ultimately boils down to supply and demand. There's too much demand, not enough supply, which drives the price higher. And when probed about the sustainability of such demand, Hougan emphasized the gradual awakening of different investor segments to Bitcoin's value proposition. Quoting him here, people just wake up to Bitcoin at different paces. We have seen retail investors engage first course, followed by companies and financial advisors, and now institutions are recognizing that Bitcoin belongs in a diversified portfolio. Bitcoin is now a global macro asset worth a few trillion. That's right. And virtually every investor should have some exposure. We still have a large number of investors to go, which is why I believe we're still early in this journey. We have many quarters to go. A pivotal aspect of Hougan's forecast hinges on the potential of establishment of the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. Addressing this, he remarked, if we do get a strategic Bitcoin reserve when the government is buying Bitcoin as proposed in Senator Lummis' bill for the government to purchase 1 million Bitcoin, $200,000 Bitcoin is going to look quaint. You're going to be looking at $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 Bitcoin. It's just too big a story because governments all around the world would have to do it. That's right. This is the game theory. This is the global hash wars. Hougan admitted that he first was skeptical about Trump suggesting to establish strategic Bitcoin reserve, but over the months, it hasn't gone away. In fact, we continue to see leaders in the Trump administration, including his own sons, suggest they are open to it and doing it. He remarked, the Bitcoin CIO still thinks that the odds of the U.S. government buying Bitcoin is less than 50%, but it's not zero, he added. If it happens, or if we start to see it happening in other countries, you're going to see a rip up in Bitcoin that will make 2024 look pretty docile in comparison. That's what's up. He also highlighted the role of the institutional platform, specifically citing Coinbase as a potential major beneficiary in the evolving crypto landscape. Coinbase is currently about half the size of Charles Schwab, and we believe it could surpass Schwab in brokerage size. Coinbase hasn't had major competitors bubbling up to challenge it. It sort of had a degree of regulatory capture, if you can believe it. And as a result, it has been able to sustain high margins and brokerages. Yeah, you got to also consider, fam, that they're the largest custodian in the world. So Coinbase controls more Bitcoin than anyone else because they hold BlackRock's 500,000 Bitcoin. Most all the asset managers except Fidelity is even self-custodying their Bitcoin. It's mostly Coinbase. So you already know. And they have Coinbase Prime account where they encourage companies, trusts to put their Bitcoin on the balance sheet and they can custody it with Coinbase. So not your keys, not your coins. Theoretically, not only do the investors of IBIT, BlackRock's largest ETF, not hold any Bitcoin, BlackRock doesn't even hold any Bitcoin. Not your keys, not your coins. You want to look at it that way, right? Coinbase holds the Bitcoin. And that's how it works. And there is a difference. I just want to clarify. There's a difference between self-custodying your own Bitcoin and having Bitcoin exposure through an ETF. All Bitcoin, ETF, BTC can be confiscated by the U.S. government. That's just a fact, Jack. All it would have to be is like the Biden administration writing an executive order that Bitcoin is a direct threat to our national security, and therefore we're confiscating all the Bitcoin. They did it with gold in 1933 via the Gold Seizure Act. So trust nobody. Verify everything, learn how to properly self-custody to secure your Bitcoin, because only properly self-custodied Bitcoin in your own private wallet cannot be confiscated. Keep that in mind and don't put nothing past the lizard folk. And with that being shared, welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree with Matt Hougan's prediction, 500,000 per biddy. Holla. I'm going to just read comments out loud just for a little bit, and then I actually got to end the stream early today, start packing for my flight here back to Puerto Rico in a couple of hours. Welcome, Greg. Bitcoin does not care about the governments. It was intentionally created to circumvent that. That's right. Bitcoin separates money from the state, and quoting Max Kaiser, Bitcoin kills the state. That's right. Slices the Achilles heel. Wah. Satoshi, mess them up. MicroStrategy, baby. Shit out Florida boy survival. Welcome to the live. Good evening, Chris. Welcome to the live stream. Congress is trying to give themselves a $70,000 a year raise. I saw that. It's like, yeah, we need to give ourselves a raise. Would they propose 40%? Something like that. Meanwhile, the veterans get a 2% raise calculated for inflation. They say it's only 2%. But why do they need a 40% raise? Because inflation is really 40%. Otherwise, they're losing money. Common sense, right? But yeah, Congress is something else. Once it hits 98,000, I'll be buying more Bitcoin. F all the fear crap. That's right. Fear, false expectations appearing real. Don't buy into the FUD. Follow the smart money they're acquiring. What dictates the Santa rally? Haven't really already rallied. December, when the USA begins buying the Bitcoin, will they do an over-the-counter? I mean, that's a great question. I hope Trump appoint Saylor as like their advisor, just like Max Kaiser is like the advisor to Bukele, Max and Stacy over at the Bitcoin office in El Salvador. Hopefully Saylor gets on board with Trump. They're already good friends. Hire him and just follow what Saylor tells you to do, Trump. And we're in good hands. How they do it, I don't know the details, yet to be determined. However, the Strategic Reserve Bill for the U.S. is already drafted. So Trump just needs to sign it. And they already published it. I shared it on X the other day. Saylor says, leverage yourself to buy Bitcoin. Right on. Subscribe to the pod. Thank you, guys. And welcome all the new members of the stream. We're about to retest $100,000. Right now, Bitcoin's down 45 hundo on the day. A great buy the dip opportunity. Maybe your last chance sub 100. Thank you, Matt McCrae. Just reposted a little proof of work. Appreciate it, fam. Most likely tomorrow's pod, I'm thinking, is going to be 11 a.m. Eastern, which is 12 p.m. Puerto Rico time. Most likely, just FYI. And then Saturday, on Stack and Saturday, we'll be back to the normal afternoon time, which is typically 3 p.m. Eastern. So just FYI. And again, welcome everyone joining us. We got roughly 500 people here live and in the flesh. Greg says, of all the U.S.-based spot Bitcoin ETFs, the only one that has self-custody is Fidelity. All the others use Coinbase or other facilities. Yeah, it just makes it too easy for the government to seize the Bitcoin. They can just, here's the letter from Biden to Coinbase. Brian Armstrong seized all the Bitcoin, national security threat. Not saying they're going to do that, but you can't put it past them. Know thy enemy and know what they can do. You know what I mean? So that's why you got to self-custody whatever Bitcoin you can, unless it's just impossible for you to self-custody because of your position, and your only way to get exposure to Bitcoin may be through a MicroStrategy or a Bitcoin ETF, so be it. You know what I mean? But just note there's a difference. And if you don't trust the government, you shouldn't really trust stocks or ETFs because it's completely controlled by the government. Big ups, JB. Shout out Dub Proof. Greetings. Good to have you here. Shout out Maniac. Welcome. Shouty. What is an easier self-custody private wallet for someone who is a beginner? What are some of the risks associated with it compared to something like Coinbase? Yeah, so Coinbase even has their own private wallet, not even associated with their exchange. My recommendation, though, would be like a Trezor or something like that. There's a lot of options. So it's actually a good question. If you guys have feedback for him, which wallet do you recommend for him to self-custody? I'd say spend 30 minutes watching some YouTube videos from Trezor on how to properly self-custody your Bitcoin. Really probably take 10 minutes to learn. It's not rocket science. And if you're really that skeptical about your own ability to self-custody, practice with $10. Don't put your whole portfolio right away. Go put $10 on a private wallet and have confidence in how to use it. And then you'll be like, oh, I did it successfully with the $10. Now I have more confidence. I'll just put the rest of whatever's on Coinbase. Let's just put it in a private wallet. You know what I mean? And just do it smart. You can always send test transactions as well. If you're new to crypto, you've never sent funds and you're all creeping out and you're paranoid for 420 reasons, then send a $1 test transaction. And no one's forcing you to send your life savings in one transaction if you've never done it before. You got to be a little smart. You know what I mean? Get the confidence. Once you have the confidence, you could move $1 billion. You won't even second guess it. You're like, yeah, that's easy. $1 billion moved effortlessly. No permission needed. F you, IMF. Pretty simple. JV, you sound like you're getting sick? Not at all. Not at all. I think the mic is just so close to my mouth, but I'm feeling good. Maybe it's from speaking so much. It comes with the territory of speaking every day on a podcast. Maybe my voice got a little hoarse. JV, yeah, no, we're good. Protect your neck. 99-100, good advice, JV. Cheers, Judson. Yeah, don't think the cool part about crypto is you're in control. You want to send $1, you send $1. You know what I mean? I'm going to be visiting El Salvador next month, so I just downloaded a mobile wallet. It's called Exodus. It was the #1 top recommended wallet when I was Googling it. And basically, what you can do is put a few $100, whatever, spending cash on the Exodus mobile wallet. And then while in El Salvador, you can just use your phone to purchase whatever you want, just as at a convenience. So I thought that was kind of cool. Not recommended the Shivo wallet. Even the local people say not to use it, and they're phasing that away, as I mentioned earlier. So forget about the Shivo wallet. There's plenty of alternatives, Strike, Exodus, and many others as well. But anyways, fam, we're going to end the stream so I can start packing. I'll be back in Puerto Rico for tomorrow's stream. Thank you guys for all the support. Glad we got to break new all-time highs during this trip. The current all-time high is just above 108.2. But anyways, fam, I look forward to seeing you guys on tomorrow's show. Thanks for all the support, and